Okay, on to Chapter 5, The Genius Hour for Elementary Students. And my overall reaction to this chapter was I kind of think it was like a little less straightforward than I was hoping for. I think that I was hoping for kind of like more of like a step-by-step outline. Excuse me. Here's what you're going to do and here's how you're going to do it, which um, I mean, I guess they kind of gave, but it's going to be up to me to adapt this for the music classroom because I don't know that this book was intended necessarily for use in like specials. But here's my thoughts. So first, the book talked about a teacher, Diane Krebs, who did a Google search on the Genius Hour and then implemented that in her classroom. And basically, what the Genius Hour is students are asked to learn what they want to learn, and the teacher gets out of their way. I remember one of the terms that they use is like the guide on the side, which I think I heard before, like you don't want the teacher to necessarily be like the sage on the stage, but the guide on the side, which I guess just means guiding kids instead of telling them what to do. So I appreciate that this paragraph mentioned about Genius Hour that students are given time to learn what they want about the large unit at hand or how they will show understanding of one of the content area standards. Which is good because I was almost under the impression that like the Genius Hour could be like students could take time to learn about anything they wanted, even though it wasn't school related or something that they were learning about in school, which I wrote down on the bottom of my paper. As much as I want them to have this, isn't it the job of the parents to like nurture their creativity to a certain point and get them more engaged in things they're interested in, which I know that like some parents just don't do that, and I know that like I have to do the best that I can with them in school. But I think that when I do this project, it's going to be like it should be music related. I actually started brainstorming some ideas for what that might look like. So I have my 6th grade 20% project ideas. And I've got all sorts of things. Make a playlist, choreograph, learn something from online, create something for an instrument, use technology to learn something. I like create a greatest hits playlist for a favorite musician. Ooh, I could totally do that for the Beatles. Oh, I'm going to start that real quick. So maybe for my 20% model. So research anything that's music related that kind of seems a little bit boring, but maybe they'll want to do it. Learn and sing a new song or create a best of playlist, which is kind of like the create a greatest hits. Research an issue in music business. Again, that sounds kind of boring, but who knows? Maybe there's some kids who really want to pursue this. Find a job in the music field and research it. Explore film or video game music or composers. Write or make art based on music. There's a really great collection of pieces called The Carnival of the Animals, and both Jack Prelutsky and Ogden Nash used that music for inspiration for poetry, which Jack Prelutsky's I've used before. Ogden Nash's is a little less, how do we say, politically correct, so I haven't used that, but it's pretty funny. And then I have like compose a piece for the instrument that you already play, write a play and choose music for the scenes, or like make a silent film, which I would love it if a kid did that. I think it would be so funny, and like hold up the text boxes that say like oops or Sheila, get back, or something like that. So I am thinking about it already. I am thinking about what the kids might like and what I would like. Um, so, so the chapter continues on talking about how the Genius Hour kind of snowballed, and it leads up into, in this chapter you'll see how to prepare your class and yourself for Genius Hour, which sounds really good. Under preparing your class, they have, excuse me, they have examples of what students have been told to do during their school life, which is what to do, how to do it, and why. But then Genius Hour is different because you're going to be telling students that they can learn what they want in a way that they want because they're interested in that particular item. And they give some examples to like generate ideas of what the students might be interested in, which I have and I have a sidebar over here. So one of the teachers, Denise, has students who are having difficulty coming up with a topic to make lists of 10 things they're good at, 10 things they love to learn, 10 things they love to do, 10 things that they wonder. And I wrote on the sidebar, I'm like, well, how to do this in music be stressed or talked about or something? And probably not in this book. So I think that for this year, I have to kind of provide them with a list of options. I mean, and of course, the last option is going to be anything else that you can think of that has to do with music at all. But I'm hoping, the trouble is like I'm going to have 4 hours to do this with the kids, give or take. Maybe I'll give them, maybe we'll end up doing it for 7 classes, and that first class will just be like introducing the project and having the kids start generating ideas so that they can work for like 5 consecutive classes on their projects. So I think I'm just going to have to, I think this I'm going to just have to adapt to make it work for me in the music classroom. Next, they talk about introducing this kind of project to parents and administration, which I don't think is going to be a problem. Again, the school has given us a copy of this book, so I'm under the assumption that they are going to find it valuable. Although I appreciate the line, be careful that you are structuring this unstructured time. Each class should have a purpose and be connected to a learning goal. I have attempted to do this before in ukulele in the 6th grade, and I'll tell, piano in the 6th grade, and I'll tell the kids, like, okay, you need to play for me, and after that you can do any one of these things, like play another piece, do this, do that, and I haven't, half the time, like, once the kids play for me, they'll just, like, spend the rest of the class, like, kind of relaxing, or at best, or, like, playing games, which I have tried to monitor, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Google Classroom is a beautiful thing. And at worst, like, goofing off and distracting other people. So that is something that I need to work on and make work in this project. Like, say, all right, class 1, by the end of this class, you should have some ideas of what you want to do. And at the end of class number 3, I need to have a reflection about what you've done so far. And by the end of class 5, I need a reflection. During the project, that teacher, Denise, Denise Krebs, it says, Denise makes it clear that experience and reflection are key reasons to have Genius Hour. The experiential learning is engaging and gives students great joy. However, I also believe, as many have said, that experience without reflection does not produce real learning. Which I have on the sidebar, this sounds realistic. And that's one of the comments that I got from Chris on an observation was have some more reflection and have students maybe like critique each other's work. So that is a goal that I have for myself, I believe, in doing this idea with the class, giving students and maybe that's posting like a vlog like this on School Tool. and just like talking about, hey, this is what's going well so far, this is what's not going so well so far, and then like kids can comment on it, or kids can like watch it, or knowing that you're posting something on School Tool, like you're holding yourself accountable. um, so I don't know, maybe that's a way to get around it. So then later on that page, um, Giuliani says that I suggest thinking about a framework for your students to reach multiple checkpoints throughout the process, with his being pitching the idea to the class, blogging about what they're doing, and being a guide and having like one-on-one conferences or small group conferences as much as possible, which again, I'm going to have to get really creative in making that a successful part of the room, because I think that's going to start from like the beginning of the year with classroom management, you know? The other thing is like, that I kind of noticed was that the teachers using this, it appears that they're doing it kind of like it's like a full year endeavor. So the kids get like an hour a week, or one teacher said like 85 minutes a week to work on a project that's meaningful to them, that has to do with like a certain content or subject area. But some of them, like, it seems like once one student finishes a project, then they can get started on another project. Versus kids that like maybe they need 6 weeks to do what one student can do in 2. So later on, when it says that students will fail during Genius Hour, this is a good thing. Attacking the fundamental belief that failure is bad will be essential early on. Like that is certainly going to be something that I'm going to need to address, just because like 6 classes isn't a lot of time, and if the students don't achieve what they set out to achieve, I don't want them to feel bad about it. I want them to feel proud of what they have accomplished, especially if they worked really hard on it and felt really passionate about it, you know? So, yeah. And I also put down here, especially the accelerated class. So there's an accelerated class of 6th graders, and they have like very good GPAs, and they're great. I mean, all the kids are great, but they have like outstanding character, and maybe they learn a little bit faster. I feel like my prediction is that they might set some really lofty goals for themselves and then be crushed when they don't finish them. So I think it is especially important to like those like higher achieving kids to say like, hey, it's okay if this didn't happen, you know? Which is such a hard thing to learn. Like an example in my own life is my major form of exercise is CrossFit. So it's just a combination of like cardio activities like running and riding on a stationary bike and jumping rope, weightlifting, and gymnastics. And one of the gymnastics movement is, you know, the pull-up. And I've been doing CrossFit for 7 years at this point, and I still can't do a pull-up without some sort of help. So without assistance from another person, or jumping over the bar, or there's like a gigantic stretchy rubber band that goes over the pull-up bar. And for a long time, I was setting unrealistic goals for myself. I was saying like, oh, I can get a pull-up like just by going to regular workouts for, like, I can do that for a year. And then I didn't get the first year, and I didn't get the second year, and I didn't get a pull-up the 3rd year, or the 4th, or the 5th, or the 6th. So about 7 months ago, I started a pull-up program where I went into the gym early and spent 10 minutes 3 times a week doing just movements to help my pull-ups. And I still can't get one, but holy crap, is my progress, like, am I so much better than I was before? So I'm hoping that maybe that will help the kids, like, be like, no, you're always learning, you're always growing. And it's okay. And I love it. Like, it's about growth. What do you understand now that you didn't before? What are you able to do now that you couldn't 4 weeks ago? Like, that's, it's going to be, it's going to be, I think, really hard for some of the kids to understand and to be okay with not reaching the goal that they set for themselves. As you can tell, I have a hard time with this as well. So I'm going to have to model that and maybe just like be real with the kids and just say like, hey, I understand. Like, I don't know exactly how you feel, but I think in a similar way. The last thing I want to comment on is something that one of the teachers said on page 55 in the shaded area where it says classroom application, inspiration for other teachers beginning genius hours. And it's Joy Kerr's, first of which she said, get over it. It's not about you. It's about the kids. That was a tangent. That made me laugh just because when I did music therapy, we used to say like music therapy, it's not about you because it literally doesn't matter what kind of music you like, your strengths and weaknesses. It matters about your clients are the music, like your client's music is the music you care about. Your client's goals and objectives are the ones that you care about. So music therapy, it's not about you. Education, it's about the kids. That's that would be my motto for elementary school teaching. Education, it's about the kids. But anyways, what she says is that if we want them, so students, to actually think, to make good choices in life, we have to start letting them make choices, fail, adapt, and make more choices. You need to be there for them when they do, as a guide, asking more questions and getting them to think more. If you don't give them answers, you can bet that you will be learning along with your students. That middle sentence of especially, you need to be a guide asking more questions and getting them to think more. That is going to be so hard for me to do because like as a teacher, teaching is a helping profession. So, and that was part of the reason why I went into teaching is because I thought that I could actually help people and make a difference in other people's lives. So it's going to be so hard not to give them answers and to instead think of like probing questions to help them explore a topic deeper. So it's certainly going to be a challenge for me and the students because if I'm not giving them answers, like what should I do next? And instead of me saying like, oh, you should go to YouTube and look up for another video. I don't even know how it ends. Like, what should I do next? How do I even answer that? Like, what do you think you should do next? It's an option. Have you thought about this maybe, or have you thought about that? Have you considered what would happen if you did this? So maybe something like that. That's going to be really difficult. So. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. This is my second video of today. You can tell from the cat shirt. And it is later in the evening, so I am a little bit sleepy. So chapter 6 is the 20% time for secondary students, and I am just like, I'm going to go into that with the mindset that, all right, what ideas can I glean from this chapter that I can then adapt for the elementary music room? Although in some schools, 6th grade is considered secondary school. I went to a K-5 elementary school, a 6-8 middle school, and a 9-12 high school. So I'd consider 6th grade secondary. So who knows? Maybe I'll find some great ideas in here. Until then, thank you very much and have a good one.